Alrighty, live from Columbus, OH. It is Saturday afternoon, and this is Answering Your Financial Questions with Ramsey Solutions Certified Coach Steve Money. And as I wait to hear the audio, no, not hearing any audio. Why is that? Let's see. Sorry for the problems. Let's see. Is it the... No, that's the right... That's the right sound. Oh. Alrighty. So it's working. I just didn't have my sound turned up. That is my bad. And for further, lost my mind for a minute. For further financial content, you just scroll down on my page, youtube.com/coachstevemoney, and answering your financial questions. That's this stream. That's the weekend stream. Today is at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Normally it's going to be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and it will be that tomorrow night, Sunday night. Normally both Saturday and Sunday will be 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. The Ramsey Show after show, and that is Tuesdays and Thursdays, approximately 5:25 p.m. Eastern time when the Ramsey Show goes off YouTube. And the music playlist has exactly 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, and give those a listen if you are so inclined, including How to Do the Baby's Lips Right, and You Belong Debt Free. You belong debt free. All right, let's get into the questions. I want to buy a house. This is from Status Chocolate 8523. I'm currently around $27,000 in debt, and so that would be a no. Saving down payment for a house is step 3B, and paying off that debt would be step 2. And so you got some steps to do before you are ready to buy a house. Sorry about that. What up, Jules? Okay, yep, Jules could hear me. Right, it was my fault. I didn't have my sound turned up, and I thought it was. Let's see, $27,000 in debt. I use my paycheck to pay around $22.50 per paycheck towards my debt. That's great. Continue to do that. Also, $1,500 in my emergency fund, which is $500 too much. I use my disability to pay for my rent right now, which is around $2,000. I make $10,000 a month, so if I stick to the 25% rule, if I can buy that, the payment is $2,500 or less. Would this be violating the Dave Ramsey rule? Disability, no. I don't know what the disability is. The disability $10,000 a month? So that would be what you could do, a mortgage payment of $2,500 or less, but that you don't do that while you still have debt, though. Let's say I know I should be fully out of that and have 3 to 6 months saved. Yeah. So you stop it right there. Again, I don't know what these people are looking for. I know I should be, and so what do you want to hear? What is it that you want to hear? If you want to do something other than follow Dave's advice, do it. You don't have to put it on the Reddit. You don't have to ask anybody. You can do that. I know I should fully be out of that and have 3 or 6 months. If you're going to buy a house, I definitely recommend 6-month emergency fund. But I really would like to buy a house. Tough crap. It's not a good idea while you still have debt. That is dumb. That is dumb. And also, you would need a down payment. Have you already started saving a down payment? If so, you're doing that wrong too. All that money should be going towards the debt. So that's a no. Can someone give me some constructive instructions, or maybe that I should do, or what I could do? You could do the baby steps. You put right here, you're on baby step 2. So if you're going to bother to label yourself a baby step, then follow the baby steps. And that means first, you have that $1,000 in emergency fund, not $1,500. It never goes to $1,500. And then you pay off all debt without that going to $1,500. And then once all that $27,000 of debt is done, then you save the 6 months of emergency fund. I always do 6 months because things go wrong with houses, and if you call the landlord, you're going to be the one that answers. So you have to fix everything. So that would be step 3. And when you get that done, then only then is when you start to save the down payment. So there's not going to be, 73 comments there. Who knows what they said, what people told her. But it's just because you really would like to do something, that doesn't mean it's a good idea. So it can really make a house a curse instead of a blessing. So do not do that. Constructive instructions, or maybe there's no magic button to fix it except for paying off your dumb debt. And you know what you really wanted to do? You really wanted to get in debt because you signed for it. That's what you really wanted to do. So you really need to fix it before you start trying to buy a house. Sorry, we don't get everything we want all the time. Sometimes we have to be adults and we have to fix mistakes before we can buy houses. Let's see. Tristan Thomas, YouTube. I'm assuming YT. Debt tracker frustration. I used to use Baby Steps app as an easy means of tracking my debt. It even synced with the Every Dollar app. It seems the app has been discontinued and removed from the app stores. Yeah, I think it kind of combined with the Every Dollar app, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have at least some of the parts of the Baby Steps app in there. Let's say Every Dollar does a poor job of showing me the total amount of debt that I have left. Okay, I'll take your word on it. I don't use it. I'm just disappointed and venting a frustration, hoping that someone from the Ramsey team can implement a fix for something they took away. I don't think they read this. They don't run this. Fans run the subreddit. If you want a better chance of getting somebody that works with Ramsey, you can go to the Facebook group that they do run, which is called the Ramsey Baby Steps Community. And if it's named anything else other than that, which there are several Ramsey groups on there, that is not run by Ramsey Solutions. Sure, I can track it myself, but having the Every Dollar app calculate my payments from my bank account and applying them to the debt tracker, blah, 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 whiny. They decided to do something else with it. They decided to combine it with the Every Dollar app. They decided to get rid of it, whatever. You need to accept the fact that they did that. And so they're probably not going to implement a fix for it just because you think that that's what they should do. But again, right here on this subreddit, you're probably nobody from Ramsey is going to read this. So, you can keep track of it however you want. You can do it in a spreadsheet, and that's what I do. I take care of it all myself. I'm sorry, life doesn't work out exactly like you want it to. Sorry, Tristan. Kiana Monique, ready to put this debt behind me. Excellent. 25 female, currently have $52,000, almost $53,000 in debt. I'm a nurse and I make roughly $88,000 a year net. I plan on having this debt gone by Christmas of next year. All right. I'm selling the car for $10K and paying stupid tax on the difference. That's what you do. Excellent. Which I have in cash. Excellent. Generally wouldn't have that much in cash, but if you're just starting the baby steps now, maybe you do have it, but that's something you would use cash for. If you have cash over $1,000, that is what you would use it for, to get out of to pay the difference, the amount you're upside down on the car for. Then I plan on paying $1K a week towards my debt. I currently have $9K in savings. Any tips? Yeah, you take that $9K down to $1K and use that $8K on debt. I want to be debt free to have a better life for my baby boy and I. Debt breakdown. Let's see if there's anything else on here, but yeah, I don't know. Don't know. People like look at the baby steps where it says save $1,000. Oh, I got $9,000. Okay, so I got that one. Check. I'm done with that one. And don't pay any attention to it. You should only have $1,000. The other $8,000 goes to the debt, and I don't know why people don't understand that. Oh, it's just the breakdown of the debt here. $473 on credit card. That'll be gone the first paycheck. Excellent. And collections, you can try to settle for less with them. The student loans, 201 personal loan. That would be the first one you would pay off. It's smallest to largest, and it does say that on the baby steps. Where does it say? Using the debt snowball, which is smallest to largest, so maybe it doesn't say that. Probably when you click on learn more, it does say that though. Alrighty, so that's fabulous that you want to do that. So, but yeah, you don't keep around $8,000 extra in savings when you could be using that to get out of debt faster. What would you do? Witty Panda 6860. Sold other house to my wheelchair bound brother for what I owe on this one, $71K. Okay. Should I pay off my mortgage? Yes. Doesn't matter what interest rate is. I know both are win-wins. However, looking for advice of others. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, if you want to debt leverage, you can debt leverage. Why are you on a Ramsey subreddit then? If you want to do that. You get out of debt. You pay off your mortgage before you invest more than 15%, and all that goes to retirement. So there's no investing. You should not invest. You should do the baby steps again in order. And once you are on step 7 down here, you see where it says step 6, pay off your home early. It doesn't say invest more ever. So that must be part of step 7 then, right? The build wealth and give. So yes, it doesn't say do that. It doesn't say invest more than the 15%. So everybody's trying to scheme and scam and try to do their own thing, and that's fine. Go ahead and do it. If you want to do it, do it. You don't need to ask anybody or get anybody's, you don't need to have anybody agree with you. You can just do it. And I mean, if you're worried about maybe doing the wrong thing, then maybe you trust a professional like Mr. Ramsey, who's been doing this for 30 years and has millions of documented success stories following his advice, not dumb crap that you think you should do. The DERF 779. Financial advice. That is what we do here. Hello. Hi, guys. Hello there. I'm a 26-year-old male with married and 2 kids. All right. I inherited 3 acres and a nice place in California with 2 houses on it. Pay $1,700 a month for the mortgage. You inherited, I guess, some equity in it. Or is this a different house? But I am the property manager. Okay, my sister is the executor, and she makes it really hard to be, this is why you don't want to do any business stuff with people, with family and friends. Really hard to be able to do anything. My wife and I take home pay at the end of the year after taxes is $70,000. We are $18,000 in credit card debt. Yeah, so you're not wheeling and doing any kind of wheeling and dealing that you're trying to do. Have your sister buy you out then, is what I would suggest. A lot of it due to when we inherited this property and my father passed away. Yeah, and so all of a sudden you have to take on debt in order to get this property. I mean, what's this property worth? Let's see. We had no other choice but to get our first credit card. That's fault. And in order to save the estate. No, you don't have to. No, you don't have to do that. You can just wash your hands of the estate. The only reason you would have to save the estate is if you wanted to profit from it, if you wanted to be left anything, because debt does have to be paid off on an estate before you can get anything out of the estate. And so that was your choice, not you didn't have any choice. Quit being dumb. People are so dumb. You made that choice. There are other choices, whereas to you say, I don't need it. This is too much trouble. I don't need, my sister is a pain. You probably knew that before this, all this even happened. And so you knew that was a problem. And then the amount of money that it took that you put on debt to save it, none of that is worth it, sir. I'm sorry, none of it is worth it. I don't care what kind of memories on it you have it or what you're hoping to get out of it, but that's too much trouble. But Christian, what would God recommend me doing? I'm at the point where the next year we will pay off the credit card debt. What next year? In 2025? And we'll be debt free besides the estate. So you still owe money on that too. I'm considering either offering to buy the property that needs a little bit of reimbursement and TLC from my sister. So that way we can do whatever we want with it, moving into one of the houses. You're still going to be living right next to property that she owns. So I would not do that either. See if she will buy you out first and getting a $400,000 mortgage. You don't make enough per year to have a $400,000 mortgage, sir. Everything you're doing here is bad. Everything. And paying it off in 15 to 20 years. See, we're at 20 years already. Yeah. So that means you probably would have to get a 30-year mortgage to afford it. And that means you can't afford it, which I already know from your take-home after taxes, 70 grand. And that's nowhere near being able to afford a $400,000 mortgage. I know you want to do this stuff, and this person might as well put in there, I really, really want to do this. It doesn't freaking matter. That doesn't mean that it's smart. That doesn't mean you should do it. So this is a no for me, dog. This, even though you're in California, this idea is not going to Hollywood. So that's a no. Little pitchy dog. So that's a no. Have your sister buy it out from you instead, is what I would suggest. Because you cannot afford to save this estate. You don't make saving estate money, sir. Nick's kid, to pay off my house or not, that would be correct. Let's see if you're supposed to do that. I see in step 6 it says here, pay off your home early. So you're not only supposed to pay it off, but you're supposed to pay it off early. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Let's see what else is going on here. 32 and wife is 26. Bought our home 2.5 years ago. We owe $110,000 right now. We have about $135K between our savings, checking, and investments. You cannot include it if it's in a retirement account because there's penalties to get it out. So I would need the money from the savings and checking. Let's see, 6-month expenses are about 10.5K. So by my math, I have enough to pay it off and have a comfortable nest after. If those investments, though, to be included in the amount of cash on hand you have to pay that off, those would have to be in just a brokerage account, a non-tax advantaged brokerage account. And that means it's not particularly a retirement account. And then you don't have to pay penalties on it. You do, however, have to pay on any gains. You have to pay taxes on any gains there. Let's see. And comfortable nest egg after. Do a lot of overtime, make pretty good wage. My wife also does very well. Okay, we are torn. Nothing's fine, I'm torn. If this is the right call. We have 5.5% rate. We are also very good savers and have no other debt. I know we'll recover that money, but it's just hard to pull the trigger like that. Thoughts? That pay it off early is the idea. And right now, what you're doing is you are debt leveraging your house in order to have that much in savings. And debt leverage is not advised by Mr. Ramsey. So that means other than the 6-month emergency fund, so other than that 10.5K, you would put that to the house. Then, so that's exactly what you would do. You can just read the baby steps and see that yes, you should do this. But some people can't do that for some reason. Yo KSO. Trying to buy a house young in 2024. Advice needed. Don't be in so much of a darn hurry. Stop trying to do that kind of stuff. You think, I mean, just because your parents have a house, you're trying to get something that may have taken them until they were 30 or 40 to buy. And you're trying to get it at 18, and so that's freaking dumb. So if you have the money, you can certainly do that. That's certainly possible. But let's see what's going on there. Hello. Hi, guys. To keep it simple, only 18. Yeah, I'm looking to buy a home ASAP. Okay, first of all, if you have not lived on your own in the world, I suggest you do that for a year first. Rent. A lot of people say, oh, you're missing out on the equity then. Tough crap. You should be renting while you're learning how to be in the world. People run into problems when they move out of their parents' house and suddenly parents aren't taking care of everything anymore. And then it's, life is a slap in the face at that point. And so you shouldn't have a mortgage while you're getting that first slap in the face by life like that. And so once you realize how life is, then after that, then you should buy a house. So don't be in such of a darn hurry. Let's see. Looking at either more rural or small condo. Buying rural allows me to go with USDA direct loan, which avoids seemingly all negatives of the counterpart guaranteed loan. Yeah, so generally all of these freebie type of loans or any kind of loans that have any kind of benefits on them, generally there's cons to them as well. So definitely look into that to see what it is. Like I think it's the FHA loan that has, you pay PMI on that, private mortgage insurance, which is insurance not for you, but that's insurance for the bank that you pay for in case you don't pay the freaking mortgage. Let's see, since I have no credit score, even with Churchill Mortgage, the common recommendations, I would need 12 months of rental history. There you go. So do that then. Yes, you would need something. I mean, you don't need a credit score. You can do it through manual underwriting, but you haven't paid for anything because you've been living with mom and pop, and that's great. That's fine. But they like to see you paying for something before they go ahead and give you a mortgage, which is understandable. Which would delay me at least a year before buying. Great. Rent. Going to school right now for data analytics. I'm paying out of pocket. Fabulous. Expected to finish by spring. Once May comes around, I'll have 12 months of auto insurance payment history. Fabulous. which from my research would be the last step to qualify for USDA Direct. I'm going to check on that to see if there's anything wrong with that, if there's any cons to that particular type of loan. And you get 15-year mortgage, no 30s. As I already have a subscription payment history, great. Spotify in 3 months. PITI saved. You save a 6-month emergency fund, I recommend, before you even start the down payment. I want to get this loan sooner rather than later. That's the wrong idea. You get it when you can afford to buy the house, and you're not ready yet. Even if I don't have 20%, though I likely would by then. No, that's not how it works. You have if you want to put 20% down, you have 20% down. First time home buyer, Dave is fine with you doing 10% though, but again, you are going to pay that PMI. As there's an odd chance that I would be over the income maximum for the loan after getting my degree, which is needed. Stop trying to scheme and scam. You have to deal with the law. Stop trying to go and do stuff and get around the laws or the policies of the banks having the income maximum for the loan. Actually, USDA Direct, that's government. So they're government policies. And so stop trying to scheme and scam. I would also like to start building equity, and quite honestly, of course, you're being honest, just get my own place. You can rent your own place. I know it's not a conventional loan, but it's a much lower rate and doesn't require me to get an apartment first. This is a no for me, dog. I'm debt free and I have about $24,000 all in all. I have my car paid off and I'm making $57K base, working full-time in an operations analyst role. Thoughts and comments on this of any kind are greatly appreciated. And again, that's going to be a no, dog. You don't want to do that, and definitely check out to see the negatives of the USA Direct loan to see what kind of problem that is. And I mean, one of it that you forces you to buy rural, and so you've obviously done some research finding out, well, how can I get around like the normal things that stop people from buying a house too early. So you've done some of that research, but don't be in such a hurry. Don't be in such a hurry. I would go ahead and rent for a year. Especially you can rent in the area that, if it's like a new area for you and you've never been in that area before, you can rent in that area, and then you'll know if you want to buy a house in that area. See, there's so much at 18 that you don't know, despite all your research into ways around the issues here. So yeah, I wouldn't be in such a hurry. But you do have to have the full down payment that you want to put down in addition to your full emergency fund, and I recommend 6 months before even starting to save the down payment. Kylo MH, beginner investing tips. I'm ready to start the investing part of my journey, and while I'm an avid listener, I don't know where to start. I'm in Germany, so Vanguard isn't available to me, but Vanguard lists alternatives in their suggestions, and eToro was on there. It seems pretty beginner friendly. What are your thoughts? Well, basically any brokerage is fine for that. It would just be, you want to get one that doesn't shoehorn you into like a particular package of investments, and that they don't have limited investments. A lot of, like, especially this way you don't do your investing at a bank, because they only have limited stuff. That's why you do want to go with a brokerage. And most brokerages, at least in the United States, you can buy any mutual fund, especially even from other brokerage. So like if you have if you're invested in at Fidelity brokerage, you can buy a Vanguard mutual fund. Robasa Medcon has posted bunch previously before. Was the ideal amount for a 3 to 4 month emergency fund? Okay, well, let's see what it says on the baby steps. And it says save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. What it doesn't say is that's your expenses, so we don't know what your expenses are here, and that's what you would need to know. It's not an ideal amount, just any amount, and this works for everybody. No, you gotta have you is 3 to 6 months of your expenses, and if you're a single person not gonna buy a house, the 3 to 4 is fine, but that again is of your personal expenses. To maintain financial stability during unexpected situations such as job loss, medical emergency, major car repairs. If you're that worried about it, make it 6 months. How should I calculate the necessary amount to cover essential living expenses, including rent? You add up the essential living expenses. Those are your expenses, and multiply them by the number of months. I don't know why people are, I understand finances are not the easiest thing in the world, and they are very, very, very important, so I understand that, but some people just have a block on them where they just can't like think straight on this. This is like any, fourth grade math even here. So it would be 3 to 4 months, or if you're so much worried about job loss, medical emergency, and major car repairs, maybe you would sleep better at night if you had a 6 month. And so you would do 6 times the amount of those essential living expenses, including the rent, utilities, and food, as you said. So yeah, not a set amount for everybody. It's of that person's individual expenses. Let's see. Cesarian made an oopsie. What do I do about my lease car? Sell it. 24 months ago, I was naive enough to get a lease car. It happens. I was fresh out of college and just got my job. Car arrived 12 months after, and I can't get rid of it. It just arrived. I don't know what that means. Are you waited? You waited 12 months after you got out of college? I don't know what that means. And I can't get rid of it. No one wants to take it over. Yeah, no, you're going to have to pay some money out of your pocket to get rid of it. And we're not in the United States here. This, I believe, is Euro, $635 a month lease. Yep, that's a little bit. That's a little bit of money there. 180 a month on electricity. Is that just for the car? If that's just for the car, that is crazy. Although 20,000 kilometers, that's a little bit of driving too. How much driving are you doing? 48 months left on the contract. Yeah, so you have to pay the difference. So basically you have to sell it to somebody else and then do the buyout on it. Or just pay the difference to turn it in early. Electric Kiyo, great car. Then, though I recognize my stupid financial decision, I'm looking for advice, as I've been paying 300 euro a month on advertising to get rid of it on various websites. So far, no luck. Yeah, you put it in on a free website. You have the Craigslist or something like that. Or, you can do cars.com or something like that if they have something. They may have something like that in, what do you say? Not Germany. That was another person, was Germany. Somewhere where they have euros. Ways to get rid of it. Find someone to take it over. Yeah. Even though I do find out it'll still cost me around $400 for administration fees. Yep. So you got to have that money. Pay 50% of the remaining debt, roughly 15,240 euros. Yeah. Or you can just sell it outright and pay the buyout. And that's going to cost you more than you can sell it for as well. Leave it advertised, but we're losing. Current plan is leave it advertised, but we're losing 30 a month on advertising, but keeping it either way since we have a wedding coming in 12 months and can't afford to pay off the car. No, that's why you get rid of it and you buy a very cheap car to replace it. So that would be the plan on that. Yeah, you're going to have to pay some money for that. And, you know, that means you spend less on the wedding. Sorry. You cannot do everything all at once when you have limited funds. You are limited by the amount of funds. Odd application 3824. Buying a used car. Hi all. Hi guys. Looking to buy a used car from a private seller. Seems like a good deal. Not too good to be true, but still a good deal. My problem. I had a grandpa that would screw people over every time he sold them a car. Okay. This is why you have your mechanic, not the seller's mechanic, not a dealership mechanic. If you're buying from a dealership, you have your mechanic take a look at it. Or even if you don't have a mechanic and you get one, you pay a different mechanic than theirs to take a look at it before you buy it. It has caused me to have issues trusting private sellers. Well, I mean, you think you can trust dealerships too? I mean, you think you can trust dealerships? Really? I mean, you know, they're generally, they have to try to be honest with you, but you think they always are? How do you go about making sure you're not buying, at least to the best of your knowledge, a lemon from a private seller? Thanks. You have a mechanic look at it. Yes. Definitely, you do that. Physical Orange 780. How do I tackle this debt? Collections plus student loans plus mortgage. Well, the mortgage is step 6, so that doesn't happen yet. The collections, if it's in collections, you can do that later, or if you can save up a little bit of money and a certain sum that's, you know, a certain percentage of it, like if it's 25% of it or 10% of it even, you can call them and offer it to them anytime. And if they say no, we won't take that, you say, okay, all right, I'll put it towards other debts then, thank you, and hang up. And then you call them back when you try another time. Trying to adjust my finances after neglecting them for 10 years. Yeah, that will happen. Below is a brief rundown. Looking for strategy. A moment. Let's see. Might be interesting stuff here. Come on. Looking for strategy, advice, or stories from similar personal situations. Collections, most 5+ years old. Okay, so you should theoretically be able to settle it. Hosted financial. Okay, the individual ones don't matter what they are. None of that matters what they are. Not in collections, and that's what you would count on unless one of these people is gonna settle for less. Otherwise, you just wait until you're done with all of the current ones in order to settle those. And so that 24, the IRS is first anyway, regardless. The IRS would come before collections. Payment arrangement for $50 a month, I would go ahead and pay that early. Student loans, $185,000. Back in school again. For a career change to nursing, yeah, that can cost you, so $185K, and so you only have your, and a master's degree in that. Got a master's degree in something, and then now don't want to do that field. Excellent. That is, you want to give it more thought than that. When you take out the loans, you don't want to wait to think about that when you start having to do the job. Car loan, $11,400. The mortgage, again, the mortgage, you are just making the minimum payments on that. That is step 6. Rent. There's rent. Mortgage, $800 a month. House we had to move out of and are still trying to sell. Yeah, lower the price and sell that mortgage. Or sell that house, dog. You doing it wrong. You should have done that immediately. You just keep lowering the price until it sells. It's not where you can't pay $15.50 a month rent and then $800 on top of it. Utilities $400 a month. That seems high. Chill out on that electric usage, on that air conditioning, and on that heat maybe. Personal loan, 800. We had to unexpectedly move and had no other way to make it happen. Yeah, a lot of that going on here. Had to do it. Cell phone bill $90 a month. Why? Normally, that's anything that expensive is going to be a leased cell phone, a financed cell phone through the company. Otherwise, you go to Mint Mobile or Visible is the new one that is Verizon's towers instead, and that's $20 a month. So that's a no. And of course, this could be multiple people as well. He just didn't say. Main full-time job, $3,800 a month. Side gig, $800 to $1,200 a month. Yeah, so your whole side gig goes to paying that mortgage payment. So not good. I bought a house a couple years ago, and I pay the majority of the mortgage. In retrospect, not a smart move. Yeah, you understand now. But then we had to move unexpectedly to another state due to a family emergency. Again, had to. Did you have to? You might not have had to. You might have just chosen to. And other complicated factors that I'm not going to get into here. Okay, why even bring it up then? It's been a challenge to sell it because of the market, but renting it feels like, for me, like it would be a bad financial decision because we don't have the funds to pay for any unexpected costs. Right, that's why you need to sell it right now. That's what I said. Partner has a 2 part-time jobs, also disabled and able to increase their income. They also pay for our second car payment, part of the mortgage. Sell no cars either. Sell the cars and get cheap cars. You're doing it wrong. I don't see a car payment on here. Why don't I see a car payment? Oh, there it is. 11,000 left. Yeah, you don't need that. 22% interest. No car. Sell it. Sell the car. Goodness, sell both of them. Boom. 2 senior pets who also require a lot of vet expenses. I'm sorry. Sounds like you can't afford them. I am sorry about that. I understand. People love their pets. I get it. You cannot afford all of this dumb stuff. Now, if you didn't do any of this dumb stuff, you would have the money to take care of 2 senior pets, but you don't. So, you have to do what you're going to do on that. But, I mean, you can't afford all of this stuff. So any extra money has gone to that. Yeah. But you can't afford. We do eat out more than we should, and stop doing that dumb crap too. But mostly because of limited time, energy to cook. Wah! Otherwise, we don't spend money on any unnecessary things and haven't gone on trips or made major purchases for the past couple of years. And you know why you haven't done that? Because you can't afford to do that either. That's why. Before that, you probably could, but then once all this stuff happened to you, that's why you can't do that now. Let's see, I know we're in a pretty terrible spot. You just have to stop thinking you need to keep doing everything. Keep doing all the dumb stuff. As far as keeping the cars, as far as keeping that mortgage around, sell that freaking house, put it on sale, lower the price, get out of the problems that are the things that are causing you a problem. I'll leave it to you to decide on the senior pets. I mean, the problem is with the pet, you don't know. I mean, they could both die tomorrow. We just do not know, especially if they required a lot of vet expenses. So they may not be in that good of health. And so that may be more money out, and then they just die very soon anyway. And so I'll leave you to decide that, though. That's your pets. But I really want to turn things around. We don't spend frivolously and no longer have open credit cards to use. Yeah, I tried to get debt consolidation loans. That's not an answer. You have to pay them off or get rid of the debt by selling the cars. Refinance the car's house, but can't get approved for anything. Bankruptcy foreclosure is not so. See, at this point, you're being forced to deal with it in a different way other than more debt, other than moving it from place to place. So you're being forced to deal with it, and how you deal with it is that you sell that freaking house and you sell those freaking cars. Bankruptcy foreclosure is not something I want to consider right now. Yeah, you're not bankrupt. You just need to get rid of the cars and the house. What strategy would you use to tackle this debt? You get rid of most of it by selling the cars and selling that house. Get it sold. If your realtor doesn't want to lower the price, get another realtor then. My goodness. So yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, I get it now, and you're feeling it now because I mean, this is basically the bottom where you don't have any other option except to pay it off. And how you pay it off is you sell that stuff. Just supposed to ask for general advice, or what would you do in this situation? Location, Australia, mate. Salary, 56K. I wonder if that's Australian dollars, probably. Let's see what we got. Mortgage, 67K. Left on it, I'm assuming. Value, 720K. Fabulous. Retirement, 330K. How old? Savings, 27K. Cost of living, 49% of take-home pay. Okay, I mean, does that mean expenses? Age 47. All right, so you're up there. What kind? Let's see if you got any dumb stuff. In Australia, a common feature of the product that is a mortgage is what's called a mortgage offset account. All my savings are in that offset account. I have absolute access to it like any other debit card account. The difference is the amount in that account, for lack of a better phrase, pretends to be on the mortgage. In my case, the 27K pretends to be on the mortgage, so I'm only paying interest on 40K. Yeah, so that would not be advised to take advantage of that if you have the option. You may not. You may have to have that. I mean, if that's like for example, a lot of mortgages in the United States require you to have escrow, and that's for paying insurance and taxes. And so they make sure you have enough by requiring that as part of the mortgage. So let's see. So I'm going to pay interest on 40K of the mortgage. Oh, I see what you're saying, instead of the full 67. It's practically tax-free earning instead of putting savings in an account where I might get 4. So you wouldn't keep that around, debt leveraging it. You would pay off the freaking house. There, but just looking for opinions. Yeah, you wouldn't keep just for that benefit. You would not pay the mortgage off. Let's see, do I set myself a target, for example, 35K in savings, then stop saving and pump it all into my mortgage? Yes. And that savings amount should be 6 months, since you own a house, 6 months of your personal expenses. Do I continue to save until my savings and mortgage are at an equilibrium? No, you pay off the mortgage faster. And then that means you pay less interest. The more you pay on it each month means you're not paying interest on that amount the next month. Paying 0 interest and then pump into my mortgage. No, you do not do it like that. You do not try to scheme and scam. You pay stuff off. I feel like I'm somewhat comfortable with no credit cards and owning my car, but also want to continue to save. Yeah, I mean, 47 is not that old. I mean, theoretically, maybe 20 years before you retire. But you do want to start getting that retirement up there. And to do that, how you do that is you get rid of that mortgage payment and you pay that off. And then you can put the mortgage payment into extra retirement. In this situation, would you feel comfortable borrowing for something? No. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Ramsey, but he is the no debt guy. So, let's see. For something, if it could generate a higher income despite the Dave Ramsey mantra of not borrowing for consumer goods. Yeah, right. He doesn't really talk about borrowing to fund a business if people are comfortable. No, you don't do that either. What don't you understand about that he is anti-debt? You do not do that to borrow to start a business because most businesses fail. So that's of course going to be a no. I've seen him talk with people that run businesses that are up to eyeballs in the wrong debt. All debt is bad, even on a mortgage. He doesn't yell at you for the mortgage, but generally a mortgage 99% of the time is going to appraise and not go down. And it's not like a business that is going to fail and then you have to pay money back and you don't have a business repaying back that money because you were dumb and thought you could open a business on debt. And so that's a no. But yeah, despite the Dave Ramsey mantra, that's the mantra. No borrowing. No, 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 no. Let's take a look at the baby steps right here. One it doesn't have is baby step 0. And the part of baby step 0 is where you decide you're done with debt and you're not going to take out any ever again, except maybe a mortgage for a house that you live in. Otherwise, it's a no to all our people in Australia. A no. So many schemers and scammers always want to do stuff like that. And again, just do it. I mean, you can watch the TikTok for some ideas if that's what you want. Some ideas for scheming and scamming. Watch the TikTok. Plenty of them on there. JP Bowers Jr. Thoughts on this? This is a fine word. Kidding. I'm thinking about putting 50K in S&P 500, likely VU. That would be Vanguard's S&P 500 mutual fund, and they are all the same. It doesn't have to be with Vanguard. It's still an S&P 500 based mutual fund is still gonna be the same stuff, regardless of whether you get it from Vanguard or Fidelity or from Schwab or from anybody else you can think of, or something like. Then add an additional 2K a month over the next some odd years to it and use the gains minus taxes to pay off the mortgage 3321, appraisal 549K. Thoughts? No, you do not do that. You put that 2K a month extra on the freaking mortgage instead of investing it to try to make money to pay off the mortgage. No, 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 no. Dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. 16 semesters. Funniest thing that happens all the time on the show with callers. Let's see. Host, do you have any debt? We have no debt. Except 5K in credit cards, 87K in student loans, 2 car loans totaling 74K, and 3 personal loans totaling 38K. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but that does happen because they think that they don't have any. Like, you will get people that don't think a certain kind is, like student loans. They don't really count that as debt, but as far as the rest of it, yeah, I mean, it's like a little bit of exaggeration, but it does. And it's like, have you seen the show before? And people always think they're the exception. They're the ones going to be allowed. Oh, honey, you can have your debt. You can have your credit cards, honey. It's fine. That's not ever going to happen. Dumb. All right. Old Cycle 8247. How am I looking? How bad? What bloody time is it? How bad? Income 7567 monthly after tax. Rent 1950, gas 220, phones 3 for the family 275. Again, if those phones are not part of it, stop buying phones through a freaking phone company or if you do, you can buy phones through Mint Mobile, and I'm assuming through Visible as well, but you pay for the whole phone at the same time. You're not freaking financing it. Sewer 72 personal loan, 930. Collections 2326. 1700 remaining. Car note 6556. Child support 4193. That'll take a bite, won't it? Arrears from when I was unemployed. That'll take a bite too, being unemployed. So don't stay unemployed long, even if you have to work at fast food or something. Tax due $2,000. Student loan 91. Debt. So how bad? It's very bad. Debt 111K total. How am I looking? How would you tackle this? My take is collections, child support. No, collections are at the end. Child support, you probably would want to do first. Child support, you still, like, basically you owe that to the government, and I would make that akin to IRS. I mean, but that's up to you, but I would probably try to get rid of that first. Otherwise, it's smallest to largest, and agreed, that's a no. I mean, you just want somebody to agree with them. That's a no on this. It's smallest to largest. And if you're, and you can save collections to the end, you can try to save up. If you get a sum of money and you want to see if they'll take it as payment in full, you can call them and ask. Otherwise, you save this till the rest of all your debt. New apartment. Yes, Matty Bags in OH. Yeah, and this is not my ultimate setup, not yet. It's just temporary setup. I was gonna set it up in the loft upstairs, but there's the cable doesn't work up there. Must not have gotten hooked up correctly. Yeah, so this is a no on this one. As far as agreeing with your thing on it, the collections would be last. The child support, I would probably do that one first. Otherwise, smallest to largest, if you don't want to do that one first. Since that is done through the government, it's not, unless that's some kind, I mean, especially since it's arrears, that's not from like a personal agreement you have with ex-spouse or baby mama or baby daddy. Don't know if this is a man or not. But that's not like an agreement. If it's arrears, then you use that term. I'm going to go ahead and assume that it is you pay the city or something. You pay the government and they pay the other parent for that. And so you want to get rid of that as far as being behind on it. Commercial ad. When can I buy a house? Not as soon as you want to, for certain. Baby step 2 flare there. And so, can you buy one on baby step 2? That's a nay. At what step do people buy houses? Step 3B is saving for a down payment. I'm reading the baby steps again, and I see nothing about buying a house. I'm a month or two from reaching baby step 3. Fabulous. Get 6 months of emergency fund expenses for that full emergency fund, and then after that, then you save the down payment. That's step 3B. It's not on there, but that's where it goes. Once I've gotten baby step 3 complete, it says to start investing. The steps assume I already bought a house. No, they don't. It just doesn't say that 3B in there. So when are we supposed to be buying a house? Not what are the numbers I need, but when. It's also when you can afford it. So it would be after you have you don't start saving for that until you finish the full emergency fund. Now, and that means you've also gotten out of debt as well. So once you get the full emergency fund, then at that point you're on step 3B and 4 at the same time. And if you want to get into a house faster and you want to save a larger down payment faster, you can not do investing for up to 2 years. Mr. Ramsey is fine with that. And so that would be when you get your full emergency fund completed. That is when you can start saving the down payment. And once you have enough down payment, that would be when. And when you can afford the mortgage payments as well. What the mortgage would be on a 15-year fixed. Not get it at 30 and stretch it out so the payment will be lower, so you trick yourself into thinking you can afford it, but when actually you can afford it. Okay, Ambassador 5155. I am a teenager and my parents are in debt, and the debt collector calling my parents every time now. Every time? You mean every day? Or a lot? Third world country. Give them a break on the English. Good English as far as that is concerned. Southeast Asian. Okay. My mom and dad, already age 45 plus. They have 2 sons, me and my brother. Mom's a teacher in elementary schools, and the income is around $100+ a month. Yeah, in some of those countries, it's like we can't even relate to it at all because the economy is so low that in less than $100 a month too from dad. So that is, it's like we have no idea what this means as far as versus say rent or a mortgage or something like that. So years ago, I go to senior high, and it really make our money more dry because my parents need to pay for school, tuition, and others. Okay. I guess you don't get senior high without paying extra for it. My parents had no more income, either with Joe's job, so they loaned debt from online wallet app to pay for my school tuition and laptop. Fast forward to today, I see my mom. Well, if you get your butt to work, you can help them pay that part off that they did for you. But, I mean, they did it. It's in their name. It's not in your name. So, technically, you're not on the hook for that. But if you feel indebted to them because they did that and your life is better, especially if your life is better because you did do senior high, then you might want to pay that off. Fast forward today, I see my mom's phone and look up to the app where his debt is already less than $1,000 from 7 or less app. I see his expression really sad and pale when she talked to my father. She just got scolded, and when I just opened app 2, there's much caller and message from the debt collector. Okay, really scared because I don't know what to do to help my mom. If you're working, I can do a web dev and other things with Fiverr, but I don't know if I can get a job. It depends on how old you are and if there's a job available. In your country, I don't know how easy it is to get a job. My brother is backbone of our family. Money, but he still needs the money, so his income is like $300, but he can only give us like $50 a month. Yeah, so I mean, this is going to be for you. You get a job. But I can't find a part-time job here as those jobs are not popular and just expensive for business here in this country. Can you work full-time? Are you out of school? Don't know. I just need to know I can make money. You have to get a job. I see Ramsey show like months ago, and I really like these money advice video as I never taught such things. And myself too quite got stressed with this situation and don't know where I should go or who I should tell as I don't have a friend, and so maybe I can text my expression here. Yeah, and that's fine. Only one comment though, fortunately. A lot of people, maybe because of the broken language, or just bypassing it. But I mean, again, you're still living with them, I'm assuming, and so if you want to help out, certainly get a job. But if you are unable to get a full-time job while you also are still in school, then there's not going to be that much you can do. There's no magic to it. It just has to be if and this is more on them because it's on their it's in their names, and if they don't have anything, you know, probably, I'm guessing the case, not making that much money. I'm assuming that's not that much money. $200 between the three of them a month, I'm assuming is what it is. And if they are, they would just have to be able to cut it out of the budget. But they probably aren't buying anything that's not necessary anyway with those kind of low funds. So unfortunately, there's no way to fix debt except by paying it off, and that requires money. And the baby steps require income to happen. There's no magic button. There's no tricks around it or any schemes and scams around it. Income is required to make the baby steps work. Robush Midcon again here. How to build a diversified portfolio for wealth growth. Hypothetical, if you have 10K, where would you invest that money? Would you invest in S&P 500, bonds, market, or invest in gold? And if in all of each, what would be the proportion of each investment for a diversified portfolio in step 4? So you would apply money to whatever baby step you're on. And so if you're on 4, it is time to start investing, but Mr. Ramsey does not advise index funds, which S&P 500 does not advise that for investing in retirement or anything else. He does not advise bonds or gold either, or virtual currency. Okay, none of this stuff. Manage mutual funds for retirement is what it is, and it's four different categories, and the most common names for those, he calls them like growth and income, stuff like that. But the more common names are for them is small cap is aggressive growth, that one I know, and mid cap, large cap, and international. And so the other two caps are just regular growth, and then growth and income, which I think the large cap is growth and income, I think. But the aggressive growth is the small cap. So it's just small, medium, large cap, and international. And that's the kind of managed mutual funds that you would get. And it's 25% each, even split amongst all of those. Let's go ahead and get rid of this one. Tight Kusher 344. Why would Dave not count HSA investments as part of the 15% in baby step 4? Probably because they can't. The idea is that you are using that money to pay for medical expenses, and that it is supposed to be just an extra thing to do. So you can use it now if you are in step 7 and your house is paid off. Then at that point you can invest more than 15%, and that could be one of the vehicles that you do this. Now, even while you have debt, you can put money into an HSA, but you will, of course, be using that to pay for medical expenses. And so that would be the reason why. Yeah, it wouldn't count towards the 15%. Right, that would be an extra thing. And again, extra investing beyond the 15% is only on step 7 after your house is paid off, or if you don't never have one. And so just being on baby step 4, if you have a mortgage, this is a no for you to be an extra investment. If you're using it to pay for medical expenses, yes, you can do one, because that money's gone regardless. So it doesn't matter if it goes through a HSA first. But you don't look for extra investments, and you wouldn't prioritize, for example, an HSA above the Roth IRA, for example. So that would be why, and it seems fairly obvious to me, but not to take cushion here. Alrighty, so that concludes the answering your financial questions stream for today. There will be one tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time is when that one is. And that's the same format as today. The other live stream financial show is the Ramsey Show After Show. Sorry, losing my mind. And that is approximately 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time when the Ramsey Show leaves the YouTube, and the last hour is exclusively on the app is when I start that one. Again, youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney is where you're watching this. And for that further financial content, you just scroll down and you got playlists here. This is episode 130 of Answering Your Financial Questions stream. And there are, how many? 402 Ramsey Show After Show shows. Also, 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in the music playlist. So give those a listen if you are so inclined. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Always to do that stuff. And oh, that's right, I didn't do the. Let me do my plugs, and then we'll get out of here. All right, I am a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, and if you are having financial problems, or you just want to make sure you're just on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com about financial coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, the CashApp at $CoachSteveMoney, or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. And again, alternatively, you can do super chats during live streams or super thanks when you watch a previously aired video or just pre-recorded video. Upcoming streams, of course, answering your financial questions, Saturdays and Sundays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I did this one a different time because Ohio State Buckeyes were not playing today. And the Ramsey Show After Show, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I don't do a show per se, but I will do a chat replacement stream of some type. Sometimes I'll be doing playing a video game on there. Sometimes it'll just be just a picture on the screen, but it'll still give us a place to talk like we used to do in the Ramsey Show chat until that was over. But now the last hour, which is approximately 40 minutes of video, is exclusively on the Ramsey Network app. And so that just gives us a place to chat. Alrighty. As always, make smart financial decisions every day.